I never imagined the worst day of my life could get even darker. The doctor's words still echoed in my ears. Terminal cancer, 6 months, as I drove home early, desperate for Amanda's embrace. 8 years of marriage, I thought we could face anything together. The strange sedan in our driveway puzzled me. Then I heard it laughter from our bedroom, followed by sounds no husband should ever hear. My hands trembled as I climbed the stairs, unprepared for how my world would shatter twice in one day. Before I share what happened next, where are you watching from? Hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below. Life had been good until recently. At 35, I had built a successful career as a software architect at one of Boston's most prestigious tech firms. The journey had been everything I hoped for since graduating from MIT with my computer science degree. That was where I met Amanda. During my senior year, she was studying marketing with bright eyes and ambitious plans that matched my own. Our courtship was straight out of a romance novel. We spent countless hours at a small coffee shop near campus, where she would sip her caramel macchiato while I worked through algorithm problems. Weekends were for hiking in New Hampshire, where we talked about our dreams under canopies of maple and oak. I proposed at sunset on Cape Cod, the waves crashing as she said yes through happy tears. Our wedding was everything we wanted: intimate and meaningful. 75 guests gathered at Amanda's parents' lakeside property. Her father, a stern but kind-hearted surgeon, had welcomed me into their family with unexpected warmth. When he gave his toast, his voice cracked with emotion, and he told everyone I was the son he never had. We purchased a colonial home in an upscale Boston suburb, spending weekends painting walls and refinishing hardwood floors. Amanda had an eye for design, transforming our house into something from a magazine spread. I remember installing the chandelier in our dining room, Amanda directing from below, both of us laughing when I nearly fell off the ladder. Our careers flourished in tandem. My promotion to lead architect came with a substantial salary increase and stock options. Amanda built her marketing consultancy from scratch, impressing me with her tenacity and vision. We were financially comfortable with a healthy investment portfolio and annual vacations abroad. Last year we spent 3 weeks in Italy, eating our way through Tuscany and taking cooking classes in Florence. We had started discussing children. Amanda researched the best private schools in our area, while I calculated college funds and insurance policies. We converted the small bedroom next to ours into a home office, knowing it might eventually become a nursery. The first warning signs were easy to dismiss. Unusual fatigue after our trip to Italy, jet lag, we assumed. Persistent back pain. Too many hours hunched over my computer, surely. The doctors we initially saw seemed to agree, suggesting stress, overwork, or anxiety as potential culprits. Then came the rapid weight loss, 18 pounds in 2 months, and the yellowing of my skin that Amanda attributed to poor lighting in our bathroom. The severe abdominal pain that woke me in the middle of the night finally convinced us something was seriously wrong. The specialist ordered comprehensive tests. When the scan revealed a shadow on my pancreas, I tried to stay optimistic. The day of the biopsy, Amanda claimed she had an important client meeting she could not reschedule. I drove myself to the hospital, watching other patients in the waiting room surrounded by spouses, children, and friends. I scrolled through work emails to distract myself from my solitude. When the doctor entered with that sympathetic expression medical professionals perfect over years of delivering bad news, I knew. Terminal pancreatic cancer, stage 4. With metastasis to my liver and lymph nodes. Treatment options were limited. 6 to 12 months, he said. Maybe less. The hospital administrator discussed insurance coverage and medical costs while I sat numb. I sent a text message to my supervisor requesting personal leave, unable to form words for a phone call. Driving home, I cycled through every stage of grief in 20 minutes. By the time I turned onto our street, I had composed myself enough to tell Amanda I needed her now more than ever. The empty parking spot where Amanda's car should have been was my first surprise. The black Audi sedan in our driveway was the second. I recognized it immediately: Jake's car. My college roommate, my best man. The guy who had cried during his toast at our wedding, promising to always be there for both of us. Inside our house, small details registered one by one. Newspapers piled up on the entry table. Mail, uncollected. Amanda's coffee cup from breakfast still on the kitchen counter. I moved through the silent first floor, noticing wine glasses in the sink. Jake's distinctive leather jacket draped over our living room chair. As I approached the staircase, I heard it muffled laughter from our master bedroom. My heart raced, palms sweated, and ears rang as the realization formed in my mind. Still, disbelief competed with growing certainty as I slowly climbed each step. Our bedroom door was slightly ajar. The sounds became unmistakable. In all our years together, I had never imagined hearing those intimate sounds without being their cause. My hand shook as I pushed the door open, revealing my wife and my best friend in our marital bed. Amanda screamed. Jake made a pathetic attempt to cover himself with our Egyptian cotton sheets, the ones Amanda had splurged on for our 5th anniversary. Nausea washed over me, my vision narrowing to a tunnel. I gripped the doorframe to steady myself, the cancer diagnosis momentarily forgotten in this new tsunami of betrayal. Hudson, this is not what it looks like. Amanda blurted, her face flushed, her golden hair I had run my fingers through countless times, was disheveled. It just happened. Jake added, reaching for his discarded pants on the floor. The floor I had refinished last summer while he drank beer and kept me company. I stood in silent shock as they scrambled to dress. When they followed me into the hallway, Amanda tried to touch my arm. I recoiled as if burned. How long my voice sounded foreign to my own ears. Amanda stared at the floor. Jake looked at the wall behind me. How many times I pressed. "In our home, Hudson, please," Amanda whispered. "We need to talk about this rationally." 3 years, Jake finally answered. "Since my divorce. 3 years, half our marriage. While I worked late to secure our financial future. While we discussed having children. While I held her hand during her father's heart surgery last year. You have been so distant," Amanda said, as if this justified everything. "So focused on work. Jake was here when you were not." I realized with sickening clarity that her client meetings had coincided with my medical appointments. While I sat alone receiving the worst news of my life, she was with him. "We never meant to hurt you," Jake said, attempting to place his hand on my shoulder. "It just happened." I shrugged him off and walked to the guest bathroom, locking the door behind me. I splashed cold water on my face and stared at my reflection, thinner, yellower than just months before. I heard them whispering in the hallway, planning their excuses. When Amanda went to shower, I checked her phone. She never changed her password from my birthday. The text messages confirmed everything and revealed worse. They had discussed my life insurance policy. They had made weekend plans that aligned perfectly with my scheduled treatments she knew nothing about yet. She had shared my recent health issues with Jake, both of them speculating on what might be wrong with me. I packed essential items while Amanda was still in the shower. She emerged wrapped in a towel, begging me to talk. I walked past her without a word, refusing to reveal my diagnosis. The last thing I saw as I drove away was her standing in our doorway, phone pressed to her ear, calling Jake, no doubt. The anonymous airport hotel room witnessed my complete emotional breakdown. I alternated between rage and despair, contemplating my shortened life now devoid of the partner I had trusted completely. By morning, clarity emerged through exhaustion. I would not waste my remaining time on emotional reactions. Instead, I would respond with calculated precision. My first meeting with high-powered divorce attorney Sarah Goldstein happened the next day. A work colleague had recommended her, describing Sarah as a piranha in a designer suit. Her office overlooked Boston Harbor, the decor minimalist and expensive. Document everything, she advised, her red-framed glasses perched on her nose. Infidelity, financial misconduct, timeline, I want it all. I provided photographs of Jake's car at our house, screenshots of text messages and bank statements showing unusual withdrawals. Sarah nodded approvingly as I detailed my findings. Amanda had been siphoning funds from our joint accounts into a separate one I knew nothing about. Let us set up hidden cameras in your home office, Sarah suggested. Financial documents are stored there, correct? We need to catch her tampering with records. My parents had left me a significant inheritance when they died in a car accident 5 years earlier. Sarah helped me transfer those assets into an irrevocable trust, protecting them from divorce proceedings. I created a new will with my college friend Thomas as executor, excluding Amanda completely. My brother Michael flew in from Seattle when I finally shared my medical diagnosis with him. His face crumpled with grief, but he composed himself quickly. "What do you need from me?" he asked simply. "Be my medical power of attorney," I replied. I do not trust Amanda with those decisions anymore. We contacted mutual friends, strategically sharing edited video evidence of Amanda admitting to the affair. I was selective, choosing friends whose moral compasses would be outraged by such betrayal. The dinner with Amanda's parents was particularly difficult. They had welcomed me into their family, treated me like a son. Her father's face aged 10 years when I showed him irrefutable evidence of his daughter's betrayal. Her mother wept silently, twisting her napkin in her hands. "We did not raise her to behave this way," her father said finally. "What can we do?" "Just know the truth," I answered. "Make your decisions based on facts, not her version of events." My investigation revealed how deeply the betrayal ran. Amanda had leveraged my professional connections to build her business. Anonymous tips to her major clients, complete with documentation of her ethical breaches, resulted in multiple contract cancellations. Jake suffered similar consequences. An anonymous email to his company's HR department included evidence of him using company resources to conduct his affair, along with security camera footage showing him entering my home during work hours. His termination letter cited moral turpitude and misappropriation of company assets. Financial discoveries multiplied. Amanda had started a joint investment account with Jake using our marital funds. Bank records showed she had been funding his luxury purchases, the Audi, his expensive watch collection weekends at exclusive resorts. The real estate agent who had sold us our home contacted me after seeing my name on apartment rental applications. Amanda and Jake had completed a lease application 3 months earlier using a substantial deposit that matched a withdrawal from our joint savings. Most damning were the email trails showing travel bookings for vacations planned during what would have been my treatment periods, trips to Bali, the Maldives, New Zealand. They had been planning their life while anticipating my death. For our confrontation, I chose an upscale restaurant with private dining rooms. The setting was calculated public enough to prevent a scene private enough for candid conversation, with recording devices, active, and divorce papers in my briefcase. Amanda arrived looking contrite, in a conservative black dress, her eyes carefully made up to suggest she had been crying. She reached for my hands across the table. I made a terrible mistake. She began, tears forming on cue. It was temporary insanity. We can rebuild what we had stronger than before. I let her continue her performance, nodding occasionally, watching her gain confidence in her manipulation. When the main course arrived, I placed my phone on the table screen up, displaying a comprehensive folder labeled Amanda and Jake. 3 years is not a mistake, I said calmly. It is a choice made thousands of times. The joint bank account was a choice. The apartment application was a choice. The trips planned during what would have been my treatment were choices. Her face paled. Treatment. What treatment I have? Terminal cancer, I stated flatly. Stage 4, pancreatic with metastasis. The diagnosis came the day I found you with Jake. I watched realization transform her expression. The false grief vanished, replaced by rapid calculation. I could almost see her mind racing through financial scenarios, inheritance questions, insurance policies. "Hudson," she whispered, reaching for my hand again. "You need me now more than ever. Let me be there for you through this. We can face it together." I slid the divorce papers across the table. "I would rather face cancer alone than with someone I cannot trust," I said. "The prenuptial agreement has an infidelity clause. Your documentary evidence is quite extensive. You cannot do this," she hissed, her mask slipping completely. "No one will believe you." "Turn around," I suggested. She twisted in her chair to see two of our closest friends sitting at the next table, close enough to have heard every word. Their expressions showed shock, betrayal, and pity for me, not her. Amanda's social collapse was swift and complete. Her country club membership was revoked after an ethics review. Friends deleted her from social media and blocked her number. Her marketing business lost client after client as word spread through Boston's tight-knit professional community. Jake fared no better. Fired for ethical violations, his industry reputation destroyed. He retreated to his parents' home in New Hampshire. The last I heard, he was working at his father's hardware store, telling customers he was between opportunities. The judge in our divorce proceedings reviewed the extensive documentation with increasing disgust. The ruling heavily favored me based on documented misconduct, with Amanda receiving only items specifically designated as gifts. Her attempts to access my medical information were blocked by hospital privacy protocols Michael had established. When the divorce was finalized, I felt no vindictive pleasure. There was only justice and the freedom to focus on the time I had left. With revenge complete, I shifted my focus to making the most of my remaining time. Michael moved into my guest room, providing support during my aggressive treatment regimen. His software development job allowed remote work, and his presence became my greatest comfort. An oncologist at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute offered access to an experimental treatment protocol. "No guarantees," he cautioned, "but your case has factors that make you an ideal candidate." My body responded better than expected. Not a miraculous recovery, I harbored no such illusions, but scans showed tumor reduction and blood markers improved. My prognosis extended from 6 months to potentially 18 to 24. "The extra time is a gift," my oncologist said. "Use it wisely." I found unexpected purpose through a cancer support group at the hospital. After sharing my story of diagnosis and betrayal, several other patients confided similar experiences. Vulnerability created bonds stronger than any I had known before. The foundation I created, Second Chance Support, specifically served cancer patients facing family betrayal. We provided legal resources, temporary housing, and emotional support. My tech background proved useful in creating a secure communication platform for members. Local news featured our work, bringing attention to an often overlooked aspect of serious illness. "The betrayal can be as devastating as the diagnosis," I told the reporter. "We help people fight both battles simultaneously." Susan, a nurse practitioner at Dana-Farber, became an unexpected friend. Her husband had left her during her breast cancer battle 5 years earlier. He could not handle the uncertainty, she explained during a coffee break between my treatments. "Not everyone has the capacity to stay when things get difficult." Trust rebuilt slowly through these authentic connections. Fellow patients had no reason to pretend or manipulate. Time was too precious for games. Caregivers like Susan demonstrated commitment daily through their work. My brother Michael never missed an appointment, never complained about disruption to his life. Meanwhile, Amanda's downward spiral continued. She moved to a rundown apartment in Dorchester after her business collapsed completely. A mutual friend reported seeing her working an entry-level position at a downtown marketing firm, the kind of job she would have considered beneath her just months earlier. Jake returned to his hometown, permanently working at his father's hardware store. His LinkedIn profile disappeared, along with his aspirations for corporate advancement. Therapy sessions helped me process both my diagnosis and the betrayal. "You have handled extraordinary circumstances with remarkable grace," my therapist observed during our 6th month of weekly meetings. "Many people would have been destroyed by either event, let alone both simultaneously." Meditation practice became central to my routine. 20 minutes each morning created mental space between my circumstances and my response to them. I developed what Michael called scary clarity, the ability to see situations without emotional distortion. Surprisingly, Amanda's parents continued their relationship with me despite the divorce. Her father called weekly for updates on my treatment. Her mother sent care packages with homemade soup and handwritten notes. "You remain the son we chose," she wrote in one card. Her actions do not change that. I began writing a memoir about my dual journey through cancer and betrayal. The writing process proved therapeutic, transforming painful experiences into purposeful reflection. A small publishing house expressed interest after reading sample chapters. My relationship with my own father deepened unexpectedly. Previously distant and uncomfortable with emotion, he became a steadfast supporter. "I always admired your intelligence," he admitted during a fishing trip we took to Maine. "Now I admire your character even more." 9 months into treatment, my oncologist shared surprising news. "The trial results are better than anticipated," he explained, showing comparative scans. Not a cure, he emphasized, seeing my expression, but potentially several additional quality years beyond our original projection. Amanda attempted reconciliation, once showing up at the treatment center unannounced. Security escorted her from the building after she created a scene demanding to see me. "You will regret shutting me out," she shouted as they led her away. "I am the only one who truly knows you." I sent her a final letter through my attorney. "I forgive you," I wrote. "Not for your benefit, but for mine. Carrying anger requires energy I prefer to direct elsewhere." This forgiveness does not mean reconciliation or continued contact. I wish you well in creating a life you can be proud of. The profound lesson of my experience was not about revenge, but about authenticity and dignity in adversity. Circumstances beyond my control had altered my life trajectory twice through disease and betrayal. Yet how I responded remained entirely my choice. Helping others facing similar circumstances brought meaning to days that might otherwise have been consumed by bitterness. My foundation's work expanded to 3 additional hospitals, creating support networks for hundreds of patients. I established clear legacy plans, ensuring the foundation would continue after my eventual passing. Board members included medical professionals, legal experts, and fellow survivors committed to the mission. My future remains uncertain, as it does for everyone, though my horizon is likely shorter. What I have discovered in this crucible of challenge is my own worth independent of others' treatment of me. Each morning now begins with a simple question: how will I use this day? The answer always involves authentic connections, purposeful work, and moments of joy deliberately recognized. Perhaps that is all any of us can ask of our time, whether measured in months or decades. Whether you have faced betrayal, serious illness, or both, or simply struggle with life's everyday challenges, remember that your response defines you more than your circumstances. What experiences have shaped your perspective on trust and resilience? Drop a comment below sharing your story. If this resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to hear more journeys of overcoming adversity. Share with someone who might need to hear that even our darkest days can lead to unexpected light. Thank you for being part of this community. May you find strength when you need it most, and people worthy of your trust along your path.